I mean, when we moved to Philadelphia, that was just a really big deal. It was a significant thing. First of all, to be moving away from New York when all the rest of the family was in New York. The reason we moved there, my father had reconnected with a college friend, a friend from college, I mean, who had taken over his father's business as a builder, building housing, and he had made a commitment to build racially integrated communities. So we're talking the late 50s now. So on one of our vacations, actually, we went, I think it was during like spring, Easter vacation, we did a family trip to Washington, D.C. We were still living in New York, and we stopped off in Philadelphia and visited with this man and saw the housing development and so on. And I guess my parents probably had done, been thinking about this or working on this for a while. It was the first, I think, that I was aware of it. And actually, my father took a job working with that organization, and we bought a house in one of the communities they had built, and then we moved there that summer. It was very significant in lots of ways. I mean, there was as I said, just the idea of moving out of New York, the idea of having a house as opposed to an apartment, which was huge. And this community was one little block of 19 homes, which had this very distinctive architecture and had been built, and were being managed and sold in such a way that the community was mixed racially. And that was very unusual at that time. They were not cheap homes. They were sort of, middle and upper middle class kind of families who could afford them. So that our neighbors included, on one side of us was a Jewish couple who were both psychiatrists. On the other side of us was a couple who were black, and the husband was in the fire department, Philadelphia Fire Department, the first black man to become, I think, a lieutenant or a chief. I'm not sure exactly what rank, but some kind of officer rank. And his wife was a nurse. And so on around the street, professionals. And there was a lot of sense of community and excitement about this thing that we were doing and getting to know people in a way that we might not have. And the house itself was exciting. They had done things with the architecture to maintain the trees on the street, so that in some places, like we were just talking about this the other day actually, I had a bedroom that had what they called a reverse bay window. They had built it in because there was an oak tree very close to it, so they hadn't had to cut the tree. So I had this tree right outside my window. I had my own room, which I had never had when we were, living in apartments in New York. So that was a very, very special experience.